Hello, and welcome to the Anxious Adventurer podcast. I'm Katie Schlegel. I'm your host, and today is going to be my last podcast episode for a while. I am being led, guided to surrender and let go of a lot of the things that I've built and worked on for a long time. And this podcast is one of them. I'm not sure if it's going to come back in a different way or if it's going to just be here as it is in its form. But I do know that doing this podcast has allowed me to really find my voice. And maybe that was the full reason as to why I needed to do this podcast, is to be able to find my voice. And now I'm feeling that it's using my voice and being seen is the next step. I had such high hopes for this podcast. I had so many ideas of where it could take us and take me and my business. But at this point, I'm being led and guided to let it go. And that has been really hard because it's hard to let go of things that you've worked long hours on and that you've built up. But Mariposa Skies is changing and my business is changing. And I'm not quite sure where it's going or what it's going to become. As you know, it's been a big pivot this past year of turning from an e-commerce store to more healing work. And just this month, in February 2025, I've also let go of my e-commerce store, which I've had since 2016, or at least I've been working on since 2016. And that is a long time, almost 10 years of working on something to let it go. But I'm being led and guided. And what I'm being told or what I'm understanding in this is that I have to let it go in order for something new to come in its place. I have to make room for something new. And that's something new. I'm not quite sure what it is. I have a feeling that these things that I've been working on, the podcast, the e-commerce store, the artisans, everything will come back around. But the image that I'm getting, or the imagery that I'm getting, is that of the butterfly once again. And at this point, it needs to have that time in the chrysalis and that time of kind of being reborn, rebirthed into becoming the butterfly. But it needs to stop being poked and prodded and kind of dissected. It just needs the space to do what it needs to do in order to form into the beautiful butterfly that will be coming. So, as hard as this has been letting go, I feel like it's also this journey that I'm on is also just being a person that is showing that I'm listening and I'm being guided and following that guidance. The phrase that I keep on getting is living my life out loud. And I feel like that this next phase is just being an example of that person who surrenders and lets go of the things in order for them to really become what they need to become. And I think that is the hardest thing as humans, is to let go of something and to fail at something and learn the lesson or lessons that come from that failure and letting go. And I don't think that letting go is a bad thing. I don't think that failure is a bad thing. I think in order to succeed in life, you have to fail and then learn how to pick yourself back up again and learn how to get back on the horse when it bucks you off, you know? So that's kind of what I'm feeling is happening at the moment with Mariposa Skies and my business. I'm in this kind of waiting space, a time of pause. And I've been here for quite some time. I would say probably since my mom passed, really, has been where I'm just kind of trying to figure out my sea legs again, trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. And that is becoming more and more clear as time goes on. And I just feel like I am now stepping into my life purpose and figuring that out, figuring what that means and living my life purpose. And it's completely different than I thought it was. But I'm kind of being reminded of the things that brought me joy when I was a child. And that was being around animals, being around horses. So that may have something to do with my future and bringing those in to help with the healing. Nature has always been something that I've loved. Summers that my family spent in Yellowstone National Park and just being outdoors and by the streams and creeks and rivers, fishing, fly fishing, and just being in the forest and not really realizing it then because I was just a child, but it brought me so much joy. And I feel like that is something that I am being led back to again, is to be in a place that has nature all around. And so that's why I feel like Taos is where my future is going. Taos, New Mexico. And so right now it's just figuring things out and kind of taking one little baby step at a time. And that can be really hard for someone who has been told their whole life to have a plan, to figure it out, and to know your next step and have 1, 2, 3 steps and be in front of it all. And I think that is what I've been learning this time, these last 7, 8 months, is just trusting and not knowing what's going to happen, but trusting. My word or phrase for last year was to expect the unexpected. And I still feel like that is going to be trickling into 2025 as well. But what I mainly am really feeling in 2025 is to follow my blissful heart. And blissful is a word that has some beautiful meaning to it. And every time I just think of it, I just have a smile on my face, and it kind of just reminds me of when I was a kid and I was giddy and I had fun and I just kind of did what I wanted to do and I loved life and I hung out with animals. I talked to animals. I did all the things that made me happy. And it's been a long time since I've done those things and really put that first in my life. And so this year I am making it a point to every day wake up and ask my heart, my blissful heart, what it wants to do today. And sometimes it's just sit outside and listen to the birds, pet my friends' dogs that I've been dog sitting. Sometimes it's journaling. Sometimes it's just taking deep breaths. And what I'm seeing is that things are just falling away. The things that no longer serve me are falling away, and the things that just no longer bring me joy are falling away. Some of those things I've had to make decisions, and then some of those things have just fallen away on their own, and they were decided for me. And so it's just really trusting in those moments, learning how to trust in those moments has been my main point of learning and lesson these past 6 to 8 months. Because it can be really scary when your income goes away, when things that you have built and spent so much time and effort towards fall away, or you have to decide to let them go. It's really scary. And learning how to lean on the trust factor that you will be taken care of and everything is always working out for your highest good has really been what I've had to lean into this year and these past 6 to 8 months. So yeah, it's time to let things go, to kind of throw the image that I'm getting is tossing the cards, the playing cards in the air and seeing how they fall. And come what may, and seeing what happens. And just living my life one little step at a time. And as it unfolds before me. And maybe in a few months, I'll come back to this podcast and let you know how the cards have fallen and what has come about. But for now, it feels like this is where it needs to end for a new beginning to come in. So I guess my encouragement to you is, what are you holding on to that may need to be let go of in order for something new and brilliant to come into your life? Are you having those times where you're not trusting or it's hard to trust? And trust me, I get it. Trusting the timing, trusting divine timing has been the most difficult throughout this whole process. And I feel like I'm finally getting a little inkling of an understanding of how to do it. But I know there's still more to come. So how can you let go of things that are no longer serving you? in order for something greater and more fantastic and beautiful to come into your life. An ending can be very scary and full of fear. And a beginning can be exciting and full of light and hope. So, what are you choosing to cling on to? The ending and fear, or the beginning that holds light and hope? It's your choice, just as it was my choice too. We have free will on this earth to choose what we want to make of this life we've been given. And I'm choosing the new beginning and holding on to hope and holding on to the light and the love that's coming forth with that new beginning. And I invite you to do the same. So many things are running through my head as to what to say in this last episode of The Anxious Adventurer. And I feel like that is pretty much it. There are new things coming down, new things that I'm being taught, new things that I'm understanding, and they're coming through. And I'm not sure how to go about teaching those things or expressing those things, but for now, I feel like it is something that I need to hold space for myself to experience. And one day I may share those things, but for now, it's a feeling of this needs to be my time. I'm always given that image of the time in the Goonies movie, if you've ever seen it, where they're down hunting for the treasure and they're at a kind of pivot, a point where they can turn back and go up to the top. They're at the well, the wishing well, and they can either go up and go back to their lives and how it used to be and give up on their adventure, or they can continue forward, not knowing what it is that they'll encounter, not even knowing if they'll actually find the treasure, but knowing that it's going to be an adventure. And the main character always says, it's our time down here. Then referring to his parents, it's their time up there, but it's our time down here. And that's kind of the image that I keep on getting, or keep being reminded of, that it's our time. It's my time. So what are you going to do with your time down here? Now, I don't know where I'll be or what I'll be doing, but if you would like to stay connected with me and see how this adventure unfolds, this journey, these next steps unfold, I encourage you to follow me on Instagram at Mariposa Skies. I may be doing something new there, or maybe starting a whole new Instagram. I'm not quite sure. But for now, that's where I'll be. And you can follow me on YouTube, where for now I'm just doing videos of healing and just putting that out into the world and following my blissful heart, because that's what feels good right now. So if you'd like to follow me on either of those platforms, I would love to have you join me. If not, this will be bye for now. And I'm sending you so much love and so many blessings and healing light and healing energy to you, my dear anxious adventurers. Remember to always take that first step outside your door, because you never know where that will lead you. That's the most courageous step of all. Okay, until next time, ciao, besos.